But first tonight, the February issue of Down East magazine is now out, and it features articles on pond hockey, winter in Acadia National Park, and more.
We talked about it with editor-in-chief Brian Kevin, and the first thing we discussed was a story on a restaurant in Dover Foxcroft with one of the great names of any dining establishment in Maine: Peace, Love, and Waffles.
Michael Begley, who runs Peace, Love, and Waffles, credits his mom, who helped him start the business a little over a year ago, or early in the pandemic, who's not involved anymore, but with coming up with that name, with the decor of the place, which is very homey and kind of feels like sitting in someone's breakfast nook. It's a tiny spot on a beautiful property, a little bit outside of town. And the menu is almost entirely waffles of every sort.
They are clearly doing the Lord's work.
I went there with the family a few weeks ago. We had an amazing breakfast. I recommend it to anybody who's in the neighborhood.
Well, let's move on to a story that you've got in this issue on pond hockey. And it's basically kind of a love song to pond hockey, especially when it's played at a tournament.
Of which there are two coming up in February. It looks like February 3rd through 5th. Simultaneously, the Rangeley Pond Hockey Festival, and then what's known as let me get this right, the Maine Pond Hockey Classic, which happens in Sydney on Messalonskee Lake. And I think what the author Joel Crabtree really got here was the notion that people, there's this line about the Grateful Dead that I love. The people who like the Grateful Dead are like people who like licorice. Not everybody does, but those who do really do. Pond hockey, I think, follows that licorice Grateful Dead model. It's like a little subculture of people who live for this stuff. It's fast-paced, it's fun. You don't have to be a pro to play, although some pros or sort of semi-pros or very experienced players show up to some of these Maine festivals, which makes it kind of fun.
Speaking of outdoor activities that are fun, you have a lengthy piece on winter in Acadia National Park. Now, for everybody who's complained that Acadia is too crowded, there are too many people there, winter is the time to go.
Yeah, it's a valid point, and we know the park is taking some steps to try and curb that during the summer and even the shoulder seasons. But in the winter, it's just a spectacular place to explore. Photographer Benjamin Williamson and writer Ann Pollard-Ranko spent some time up there last year and did really kind of a deep dive on not only some terrific places to explore, see the sunset, see the sunrise, go skiing and snowshoeing. The carriage roads, as some people may know, when they get good snow on MDI, they were built to be accommodating for horses, but also maximize scenery. So they're one of the best places in the country, I would say, for Nordic skiing. And the photography that Ben brought back really just sort of shows what's so magical about this time of year up there when you're going to have it comparatively to yourself.
And let's finish with a profile that you have of a Maine painter who died about 25 years ago, who all of a sudden is enjoying popularity that no one really expected. He's on Lynn Drexler. And what did you find when you had a writer look into this?
So Will Grunewald did a terrific job reporting out this profile of Lynn Drexler. He spent time with the folks who knew her on Monhegan, where she spent much of her life. He schlepped down to New York City and met some of the artists that she lived with in an earlier part of her life there, the gallerists who've worked with her, and the folks who have really seen her work. She passed away years ago, but in more recent years, her work has come to be discovered by a whole new audience in the art world. It is selling for 7 digits worth of money when not so long ago it was selling for 3-4 digits worth of money in Maine. And I think he not only found what was so enigmatic and marvelous about this abstract expressionist and more, and the community that she evolved on Monhegan, and the group of collectors and folks who appreciated her friendship and her work, but also the mechanics about how art comes to be appreciated sometimes decades after it was created, and what happens behind the scenes to make that happen. It's a really fascinating read.
It's eye-opening to hear about a Maine artist who most folks probably aren't familiar with, whose work is going for $1 million and up.
I think, it's a matter of taste, but I think the folks who have knew Drexler and the folks who've appreciated her work over the years say this is much deserved. There were friends saying that she's looking down somewhere saying it's about time. And I think that probably encapsulates a little bit of her attitude. She was somebody who was good for a laugh. It sounds like somebody who was a great friend, a great member of the community on Monhegan, and just a exceedingly talented individual.
Again, those stories and more are all in the February issue of Down East, which is on sale now.
I'm still thinking about those waffles.